How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be covering 5 easy tips to improve your game in Foot. Before we get started, remember to hit subscribe to stay up to date with my channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. Without further ado, let's jump into tip number 1. So starting off with our first tip, we're going to be talking about the bridge and directional nutmeg. Although the bridge was nerfed a few months ago, it can still be very strong if you know when to use it. The ideal time to use the bridge is just as your opponent switches players to the defender closest to the ball. You can be patient waiting to use it if the opponent isn't controlling the closest defender, because the AI controlled defender won't tackle you. If you do bridge against an AI defender, they will still take the ball though. When the opponent player switches, there's a slight delay before they're able to move and they won't get the AI to take the ball. This timing will create a scenario similar to the pre-patch bridge, where the defender is frozen in place as you accelerate past. You can also sometimes get lucky and win the ball back immediately after the opponent tackles you because of the momentum generated by the bridge. Finally, you could be successful when timing a bridge as a player rushes out to tackle you and you'll still go straight past him. For the directional nutmeg, the ideal timing is immediately after turning. The reason for this is to take advantage of the speed boost that comes with doing the skill move. If you have just changed directions and the defender did as well, it'll take him time to speed up again. In this window before the defender hits top speed, you can hit the directional nutmeg to accelerate past him. The second key aspect to this move is the angle you take past the defender. If you go too close to the defender, he'll be able to intercept the ball, and if you go too wide, it gives the defender time to accelerate to close down the angle that you cut off. It takes some time to get used to, but you can find the sweet spot that is just outside the range at which the defender can take the ball without accelerating. And in this clip, you're going to see, similar to what I mentioned with the bridge, that the momentum you get from the speed up can really just help you take the ball right back, even if you mess up the angle you take. And into another example, you'll see the first time I use the directional nutmeg here, I'm not actually going past anyone. I had just turned, but I'm just using it for the speed up boost there. Then the second time, to the side, and then again draws the contact and gets the foul. Now you might remember from my crossing video noticing the small little movements that defenders take, and watch here as I get the ball to Ronaldo. The defender just backs off a step, and that's where I take the space for the directional nutmeg to accelerate into. Watching it one more time in slow motion, you'll see that because he takes that step backwards, he then has to re-accelerate forwards, which means I get to the ball first, he has to overcompensate, fake shot inside, and it's an easy goal. And moving on to our second tip of the day, we have the late shot fake. So the shot cancel quickly became one of the most meta skill moves in FIFA 21 due to the convincing animation and how late into the animation you could do it. This improved on the classic shot fake not only with its convincing nature, but also with the way it froze defenders by making them try to block a shot that wasn't actually happening. Although this was patched to address the freeze animation, you can still achieve a similar effect with a late or delayed fake shot. This late fake shot does not trigger the same freeze animation by the defender, but it looks just as convincing as the shot cancel, and you can draw your opponent into lunging to block the shot in obvious shooting situations. If you're in a situation where it's obvious you're going to shoot but you fear your shot could be blocked, wait until you're just about to let the shot go before hitting the pass button to turn it into a fake. As you're waiting for the shot to power up and the player to begin the shot animation, the full windup and forward swing of the leg looks more like a real shot attempt than a normal shot cancel, which is more of a half backswing without the actual shot animation. The more power you're able to put into this shot fake, the better, as it leads to a more dramatic shot animation. Time this right and quickly move to the side and you'll have an easy finish. And just playing that clip back one more time in slow motion, you'll see I wind up, then right as the defender commits, that's what I fake. So I'm waiting for that commitment before I go into the fake. And on to tip number 3, it is moving players before kickoff. Changing tactics and moving players before kickoff are great ways to get into your in-game formation as soon as possible and avoid having players swapping position in-game being exposed. If your chemistry formation has a CDM playing striker, start moving him back to midfield as soon as you load into the game. Likewise, if you have a striker at CM, bring him up to the halfway line and sprint forward with him as soon as the ball is kicked. Doing this while triggering an offside trap 2 or 3 times will help your defense stay in a compact shape and get players in their correct positions. Once one player has moved to their new position, it typically triggers the rest of the players to start changing to their correct positions. In our first example, you'll see me changing tactics and immediately bringing my CDM Vidal, who's starting at striker, bringing him back immediately before kickoff. And you'll see after kickoff starts, I'll trigger a couple of offside traps, and that's what triggers everyone to move up quickly. In this second example, I don't have time and I don't do it, and you'll see that after kickoff starts, the players are much slower to start getting into position. They're just kind of walking around, not really doing anything at all. And next up, we're going to be talking about using the keeper to relieve pressure and break the press. It can be difficult to play out from pressure, especially if your opponent is using the team press D-pad tactic or constant pressure. The key to beating these tactics is first realizing that the opponent's keeper does not participate in the press, and that the AI will not press your keeper by default. This means that if the ball goes back to your keeper, they will not be pressed unless your opponent does so manually. If he does so, that means one of your outfield players will be left unmarked. If you're willing to be brave with your keeper, a simple turn on the ball to create a passing angle can create an easy passing lane to play out from. Another option is to let the press close in to leave one of your players in space so that you can play a lobbed pass to them. You need to be careful not to let the attacker get too close or else they'll block the pass, but the key to playing out with the keeper is being brave and taking risks. If you don't think you can get it to an open player, just play a full power lobbed pass towards the sideline. Keepers are also good at relieving pressure when they have already had the ball. Drop the ball to your feet to encourage the press onto you, then wait and play the pass right through it. Also, be sure to use the radar as it's a great way to spot wide open players just off screen. And lastly, we are on to the double tap pass and flare pass. The double tap pass is a common method of cutting the ball back from the end line for an easy tap in. However, it can also be useful for playing through balls and other passes in open play to get past defenders that would intercept a regular pass. By adding a bit of loft to the pass, the ball goes over an outstretched leg and also puts a bit more delay on the pass that allows the attacker to get to the ball. And in this second clip, just watch when I play the ball, the player running into space. If he received a normal pass, it would probably be behind him, a through ball probably intercepted by the defender. So that double tap pass gives time for him to get to the spot where the ball is going. He can settle it easily because it's a very soft pass, and then it's an easy finish. Another option for beating defenders is the flare pass. While this is often just used as a showboating trick, it can actually be very useful for quick disguised passes. In this situation, if I tried to play a normal pass into the path of the attacker, my player would have done the 180-degree spin pass animation that so often leads to a turnover. The alternative would have been to take a touch to the side to open up an easier pass animation, but then the defender would have easily read the passing lane. By doing a flare pass, it passes the ball before the defender can react. Flare passes aren't the most accurate, so I'd recommend just doing them when you're playing them into open space. You can also do flare through balls in the same way. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, connect with me in the Discord. Definitely helpful. If you can let me know any ideas you have, anything you're struggling with and you want to see some clips on, just let me know and I'll be happy to make a video on it. Thanks guys, catch you next time.